Right. Instead of rocking the tank top look. Very similar to this figure that I'm holding right here.
Yeah.
You know, from the Marvel line. That's the one with the mask. We haven't seen any pictures of him yet wearing the mask with the iconic uh, you know kind of head wings or whatever.
Yeah.
Supposed to insinuating his hairstyle. The one we've seen is this one right here.
Yep. Yep.
Which
Without
is
the mask.
yeah, without the mask. We got this guy here. Which this one sort of looks like Jackman a little bit.
Kinda, yeah.
So I wonder where they got the inspiration for this. Maybe he got paid a little bit for that. I don't know. Yeah, we got some pretty cool figures.
Where are these from?
Oh, I don't know. We'd have to look at the bottom of them and see what they say there, right?
2003.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's right around the time.
Yeah. So this one, that one in particular, has less of a Jackman look than the one without the mask. And that's also 2003. So came out at the same time, but I think they took some influence from that. Um, yeah, and for your comic book setup, if you want some books that are affordable, that are related to this thing, because not everybody can afford Hulk 180, 181. They're kind of expensive books now. I know a guy that's got a couple copies of that, but or just a copy of 180 and 181. Yeah. That'd be this guy right here, but they're pretty low grade. My wife actually bought those for me as a Christmas present / birthday gift one year. It was great. So get you a woman that can, that knows what you're into and takes care in buying you gifts of such things. I got those or she got those from Todd Sulford's down at Comic Plus in Richmond. It was kind of a surprise to get those. But yes, that's kind of, Wolverine's always been, my favorite overall character. Spawn, of course, is right up there too, but Wolverine just kind of holds a special spot for me. Um, you know, I'm short, he's short. He's pretty angry, I'm pretty angry. So, yeah, I get along with the idea of that. So, very similar guy. But, so if you want some books that you can afford that are related to such thing, like you get 1992's Marvel Comics Presents number 95. That's going to have the origin of that yellow and blue suit for Wolverine. So that's kind of a cool issue to have. It's got a great cover of Wolverine on the front, or the cover, it has Wolverine on the front. It's a great cover. Also, 1994's Wolverine number 88. That's going to be the first battle between Wolverine and Deadpool. Kind of has a cover that is, if you look at it, it's got Deadpool hoisting, or rather, Wolverine hoisting Deadpool up, claws stuck in above his head. There's a scene that they showed of that in there, so I'm sure that book will play some role there. Also, the deal with this is this there's some speculation that Deadpool 3 is going to be related, mostly to a 2012 comic book called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe #1.
Yeah, I know in the screen grabs of them filming, there's a giant 20th Century Fox logo like crashed into the ground where they're
right
fighting, I guess.
Right.
So
and Marvel, Disney, they own Fox nowadays, so yep. they can do such things. I'm sure that they'll finally have the they'll have some relation to that much opined Deadpool representation from the from that Fox movie. So did a terrible job with that. I'm glad Ryan Reynolds stuck with it to bring it to what it is now.
So, I guess he killed it at the end of
right
in the end credits of either 1 or 2.
Right. I just think that they may make him maybe make them pop up again.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, just to kind of do it one more time, like, yeah, finally done. You know, so.
No more.
But, you know, the word is this is Hugh Jackman's last run at playing Wolverine.
Yeah.
Logan. So, you know, there's some rumor out there that since, you know, there it is kind of based on this Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe book, that Deadpool is going to go around and kind of be killing these different, you know, variants of people in the Marvel Universe for whatever reason, whatever plot they go with in the movie.
Yeah.
And one of them, you know, will more than likely be Jackman's Wolverine. So he'll probably, you know, probably kill him off in this movie, much to people's dismay. So don't be surprised when you see that happen on the screen. Maybe right up there with you know Yondu floating off into space and and stuff like that. You know, Tony Stark. You know, being done for, those kind of things. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know when
Aunt May. You know.
Yeah. When Jackman died in Logan, it was devastating.
So now we're gonna have to get it all over again.
We gotta live through it again.
Yeah. So yeah, that Logan, fantastic movie. I thought.
So good.
But so yeah, let's get to the main point of everything. We'll just give you that little our thoughts on this. You know, kind of fairly breaking news. It's been out about a week or so now, but we haven't had a chance to record a podcast since then. So we're gonna throw that on there at the beginning here. So yeah, go grab those books. You know, there's always the Wolverine books that people you know can afford. You know, price points is not always the giant size X-Men #1 or the which is first appearance of Wolverine in the X-Men, stuff like that. So there are some issues that are affordable, and I recommend if you're interested to grab those before they become not so affordable. But so we'll go into the toy world here. This is generally, I've collected toys for many years. I still have some of the Spawn figures that I've had since I was a youngster. So 30 something years of those toy collections. Hunter is by far the more prolific toy collector in the group here between the two of us. So yeah, I mostly collect nowadays, and I didn't and I had some of this older stuff just for a long time, and I just know that toys take up a lot of space.
They do.
So like comic books, you can as you see in the corner up here, you can they just kind of sit up in there in a little box all nice and neat. Toys, you either got to have them out of box, or sometimes the boxes are pretty big shape. Like I have a really cool one that I think is cool. It's a remake of an earlier Spawn toy. It's the Spawn on the throne setup. So it's kind of a prelude to the King Spawn that Todd had always kind of planned. But if you look at that thing, it's a pretty good size.
Yeah, it's big.
Pretty good size piece,
Even out of the box, I have mine out of the box.
Yeah,
it is a space killer.
Right. That's what we kind of call those. Like it takes up a lot of space. It's gonna get those. Got that and
the clown.
Yeah, the clown from Spawn. Pretty good size deal. Like these things are all at they're pretty heavy. Pretty well made. They're done a little better than some of the other ones. I mean, this guy's got a big mech suit with him, kind of deal. And I haven't actually taken it out of the box. I'm usually an out of the box kind of guy, but I haven't quite got these out yet. One day I will. But they're they're about $45 for this giant figure. You can see the back of it here. Yeah, he's got this giant kind of mech gun system, which is kind of wild for the clown. So that's all he needs is something like that, right?
Yeah. Make him even more devious than he already is.
Yeah, he's already got all kinds of stuff. So like, let's just go ahead and give him some more things to be the way he is. Got some, I always have some different notes and things that I take about this sort of stuff so that I can, try to be as knowledgeable as possible for everybody. I know some folks have expressed that some of the stuff we talk about is a little far and above, but that's just if you're in the industry, or if you collect stuff, then this is kind of just common knowledge stuff. So if it seems like it's a bit much, we do apologize at times, but um, we'll try to, you can always send us a message and stuff, and we'll be glad to help you with if you're thinking about collecting something, or kind of steer you in the right direction. We now just started a Facebook page today, so we got that up and running. Took a little bit to get Hunter his admin credentials, because Facebook is Facebook. You got the little, you know, Mark Zuckerberg guy running around over there in the back doing God knows what. So
It was painful to watch.
yeah, it was terrible.
We were both like on our phones trying to figure this out.
Yeah,
it was not.
Yeah, it's
working.
in a hidden location. So it's one of those deals. But yeah, so the toy collection, they've come a long way. Hunter's got some giant toys over here that he's brought in.
I brought in my my pit Build-A-Figure, which was my holy grail for probably my entire childhood up to my adult life.
Right.
And finally found one. And then I brought one from my childhood, Major Chip Hazard from the Small Soldiers movie.
Yeah.
From 1997.
Which was, if you don't remember that, I mean, that was a great film.
That was a great movie.
Wish they'd have made more of those.
Tommy Lee Jones as Chip.
Absolutely. But, the whole big thing was they flipped the script, right?
Yeah.
The villains of the action figure line were actually the good guys.
Yeah.
And then the good guys from the action figure line were actually the bad guys.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a cool little thing as a kid to see, like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. I always thought the bad guys looked cooler too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're a bunch of like commandos.
Right.
The commando.
Right.
But yeah, I saw that movie at the drive-in when I was about 3 years old, and
wow,
that was it.
That was it.
I've been obsessed with toys ever since,
especially
those guys.
Well, I'd say too, those are probably not easy to find nowadays.
No,
I don't ever see many of them anywhere. No. I think this is the first time I've seen this guy out of a case in person.
Yeah, and this one's actually missing some stuff. Like, he doesn't have his pistol.
Yeah.
I think he works. I took the batteries out a long time ago.
Yeah, you didn't want them to sit in there and marinate like they do. That's one of the things. If you got battery operated action figures or toys and leave those battery, obviously they're gonna break down. So
yeah,
you don't want
that would be a bad day.
Yeah. Then some of these, like this guy, he's not real. I'm sure you take a screwdriver to him and take him apart and clean it, but then you risk some issues. You know?
This guy, his back is actually he does have batteries.
Oh, there you go. He may do something.
Maybe
maybe you need new batteries. I don't know. Oh, yep. Get that. I didn't realize, but I also didn't realize how big those were. Did they have the smaller figures too, or are they all that size?
They had the 6-inch line, and then they had the 12-inch line.
Yeah.
They only did him and Archer, so the two main characters.
Yeah.
And they're not completely screen accurate, but it's the best you can get.
And Archer's kind of like a big,
kind of like a Wookiee.
Yeah, like a Wookiee barbarian looking thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. But, yeah, these were the first toys I was like, I have to have that and Toy Story, because they came out around the same time.
Right.
So I had these guys and then Buzz Lightyear.
Right. And then you got the giant pit over there.
Giant pit.
So that thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is a holy grail.
I think that's the biggest one they ever made, wasn't it? Like,
yeah.
Out of that line.
Well, other than like Fin Fang Foom and.
Yeah.
That one's massive.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing this in a Wizard magazine. I was like, I have to have that.
Yeah, I don't even have one of those. I should probably track one down. I'd say they're probably $200 nowadays.
They are very expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, that and that Creech toy.
Yeah, the Creech.
You got one of those, didn't you?
Yeah, that's a sick toy, man.
Yeah.
It's more of a statue, but.
Yeah, it's not really. It doesn't really not really posable or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, there's those kind of toys you can collect, action figures, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Like some people get tore up if you call them toys.
Yeah.
They're toys, man.
Yeah. I kind of group all those kind of like collectibles, like statues and pops and
Right.
cards, and we've talked about Pogs before. They're all
Right.
kind of toys.
Right. They're all toys. Yeah. So, like, yeah, I got some, some little, I guess, what are they? Like, a little over three. What are they? What size are those Beastie Boy ones?
Oh, the 3 3/4.
Yeah, 3 3/4.
Yeah.
Beastie Boys Sabotage action figures. Those just came out. Actually, those are new.
Those are sick.
They look old school, but they're kind of.
They'll go really
new.
well with vintage Star Wars toys.
Yeah, exactly. They're the same size. Like you could have those. You put those guys like down in like a starship or something. Just
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Anything like that. Rogue Leader. That's
Rogue Leader Mike D.
Mike D. Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad they've kind of made those because there's not a lot of. I don't know, the Beastie Boys don't really license a lot of stuff out,
No.
Like you got T-shirts and
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, which they've always had, but they never really come up with anything new because they're just like, our old stuff will sell. Why? And they're kind of like, they're basically, since MCA passed away, they're like, we're done.
Yeah.
Which every once in a while they'll do like a guest track on somebody's, like some of the old schools records. I think they done one recently on. I forget who it even was. They did a couple of guest tracks on some stuff. It was for Def Jam's like anniversary record or whatever recently.
Oh, cool.
But it's just they drop like 2 verses and then they're gone. And it's like I want some more Beastie Boys. So it's Mike D and Ad Rock dropping some stuff there.
Dropping some bars.
So yeah, we need to do an episode on like. How hip hop and comic books go together a lot of times because there's a lot of comic book covers that are hip hop variants. They have hip hop variants.
Well, they had that Spider-Man variant with Eminem.
With Eminem, and that was like super hot.
Yeah,
couldn't touch it.
Yeah, it's still like obtainable.
Right, it's a really expensive book. Then you got Pisker doing hip hop family tree.
Yeah.
So if you're into hip hop and you're into comic books, you should probably go to Mr. Pisker's site and get or it's on cartoonistcafade.com. If you go there, you can get you a hip hop family tree omnibus, and it's basically a giant collection of all these hip hop comic books they did. It's like Run DMC, Beastie Boys, all the old school stuff,
Yeah.
So any of that stuff that you're into from back in the day, you could probably find it in that. It's done in the Pisker way, so it's gonna be drawn a certain kind of way and portrayed a certain kind of way. So it's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna almost look.
His art's super edgy.
Yeah, it looks. I think it looks kind of graffiti like.
Yeah.
So it fits that motif. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kind of related. That got me thinking. There's not a ton of music-related toys.
No. Every once in a while you'll see something, but
like McFarlane used to make those really big band sets. Like
he did, yeah.
Kiss, and they did Metallica.
Absolutely.
And then AC/DC.
Yeah.
They should do more of those.
Did the Alice Cooper stuff.
Yeah.
He did all, which was kind of cool because they had some set designs, kind of figures. You could buy these big figures that came with a whole set. So it'd be, but yeah, they should do more of those.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they've got together on that, like I'd like to license your stuff, I don't know if, like again, man, at the time that stuff was being made, you gotta stop and think, how big of a, like kind of a rock star that McFarlane was, that he could pull this stuff.
Yeah.
He's not quite as big as he once was, and he's not, like to a certain group of people, he's still like as big as he ever was. Like to me, he's still, like if I met him, it'd be like nowadays, like meeting Stan Lee,
Yeah. Oh,
it's
absolutely.
the same deal. Like, in my opinion, he's like the next best thing we have to Stan Lee, as far as that kind of image and portrayal and being larger than life in the comic book world.
Yeah.
That's like they should start having him do cameos in movies. You know.
Come on, Spawn movie.
Yeah, get him in a. He's got to be in a Spawn movie, right?
Come on.
Yeah, we need a Spawn. But anyways, but the toy lines that he did back in the day, some of those were like, were I don't know if they make them these days.
Oh,
Like the Billy Kincaid,
yeah,
where he's like hanging there with all the hooks, or the
tortured souls from
Tortured Souls,
Clive Barker.
or the Bathory,
Oh,
where she's in the bathtub full of blood and stuff like that. Like there's some
wild ones.
Yeah, he did the Crow stuff. That stuff was really cool.
Yeah.
Like of course, like that's how it should have been. Like he should have been doing the Crow stuff when it was popular, because why not? I mean,
it looked great.
It looked great.
It's still. I mean, for what? Yeah, they're more like statues these days because they have very limited articulation, but
right,
they still look awesome. I mean, you got your gunslinger from the early 2000s up there, and
yeah,
that thing still looks sick.
You can grab that thing if you want to look at it. If you don't knock the world over, obviously, but it's just a.
I'm so scared.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll reorganize. Some of that stuff is kind of dropped down. You got him, and you got the regular one right there. Yeah, let's go ahead, man. All that stuff can. Yeah, Jetpack Spawn can.
Jetpack Spawn.
He can hang out elsewhere right now. Yeah, man. Like that's what they look like then. Yeah, I gotta hold on to it for. Yeah. So, actually, I got this as a birthday gift one time from Todd Sulfridge. So I appreciate that. So he's got all this kind of cool stuff. These chains are actually like chains. Bones, not so much real bones, but
hopefully
like
not.
little kind of animal heads here, like raccoons or possums or something. But yeah, man, he's got a pistol that will come out of there, but actually I don't remember if it does or not. I don't think this one does, actually. I think he stays in there.
Yeah, it does on the new one.
Yeah, so yeah, this one's far more robust than the new one, but the new one does have far more articulation, far better articulation than this guy does.
I think that was kind of the idea with the new ones. They were meant to be like played with and
right,
have superior articulation.
Yeah, this cape on here is made out of some like heavy duty rubber, man.
Yeah.
Comparatively speaking to the other one.
Those old ones are.
Yeah, but he's pretty hefty. Like, got the little pegs on the bottom so he can be stood up. I always do that.
Have you ever seen the is it 12-inch or 18-inch one? I think it's 12-inch.
Oh, but yeah, there's a giant version of that thing. So, yeah, I think it's 18-inch.
Those if that one's that robust, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I've never actually seen one of those in person, so
I haven't either.
Need to kind of check one of those out, see how it is.
I'd be scared to know how much they are.
Yeah, I think the thing that I recently purchased was it's kind of up there. It's a Hunter. You can grab that thing too if you want. It's a Al Simmons Spawn, but it's not really it's a Spawn figure, but it's Al Simmons before he was Spawn, right? Doing his different stuff, and this is kind of what I was talking about. This was during the era where he was, they were doing like even on the back of this, you can see it's got several different things like Kiss and Austin Powers figures and like he had all kinds of license for all that stuff. Slapshot, Kiss, Alice Cooper, like I said, Rob Zombie. Of course, Rob Zombie's going to go with him. And you got the Spawn on these crazy motorcycles, Spawn Nitro Riders, which they're hard to find now.
Yeah.
You can't hardly even find those. But this one is in-box one that I found. Back in the day, this probably would have been, I don't know, $10-$12. It's not worth much nowadays, like as far as a monetary value. But to me, it's a pretty cool figure, and I may pull it out of this package and set it up because it's got a really cool base. It's kind of got this like half a corpse.
Yeah.
You know, like who knows what happened there, but
Let
you know,
him breathe.
yeah, let him breathe a little bit. But it's kind of the detail involved in this is really cool. Um, like and this is during that period where he was just trying to make the coolest toys he could. Um, and McFarlane was, and it was like his slogan was, "No one can cover McFarlane toys better than Spawn.com." So you go to Spawn.com, which is it's McFarlaneToys.com nowadays, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I haven't checked it, but I don't even know if Spawn.com still. It may redirect you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in this line here, you had one, two, three, four, five figures. This is Al Simmons when you had the Malbolgia rather two, Medieval Spawn two. That was a really cool figure. That's one I'd really like to have. It's kind of a very Frank Frazetta look to it. I don't know if you've ever seen that thing.
It does redirect you to the McFarlane toys.
Yeah, so it redirects. I figured it would be a redirect. I hadn't been to Spawn.com in forever. There used to be all kinds of things like that. They used to even have like toll free numbers you could call, and like they'd give you like trivia and stuff. It was like a whole setup. But we're past that point in our lives now where you have to call and stuff. Like we were just talking about, movies earlier. We were talking about like back in the day, you used to have to call a number, and it would like it would rattle off. It was like a pre-recorded thing that would rattle off like movie times. Like you had to wait and you had to like write it down. There was always like a little notepad by the corded phone. You'd have to write down like, oh, we're gonna go watch, we're gonna go watch Nightmare Nightmare on Elm Street like one at like whatever time period. You got to go watch it. And if you got there and the movie was sold out, well, it was sold out. It was sold out.
Too bad.
You better go watch. I guarantee you, there's a ton of other movies that got watched solely because people went down there and that movie they wanted to watch was sold out.
We're already here. Let's just go watch this.
And some places wouldn't pre-sell tickets. Like you couldn't go down earlier and buy tickets.
Oh, really?
Like for later, you had to buy them
there
within like 40 minutes of the show or something like that. So yeah, it was a weird time.
Now everything's on your phone.
Yeah, you could call that. You could call. There's like a number you call to get the weather.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like weather predict. Yeah. Yeah, but the other ones in here were Medieval Spawn 2, Clown 3, that's a weird clown. The weirdest clown they made, I think. He's kind of a zombie. All these are kind of like zombie themed almost in a bit. That clown is wearing, he's like being hauled in on a dolly strapped to a straight jacket.
Like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, he's like a Hannibal Lecter one, yeah. And then Tiffany 2. That sounds like some Rob Swanson stuff.
Oh yeah,
with his multiple wives.
Yeah.
But anyways, but yeah, he also did the movie Maniacs line, which had a really good Hulk and several other things. But I just kind of like I said, just kind of picked that guy up. I got that over at Toy Headquarters off of Southland in Lexington. If you've never been over there, I highly recommend it. Good store. We have a lot of good stores in this area for such things. Always check those out before you go perusing around on eBay or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some toys out there or some comics out there you can't get local, and you may have to go that route. But that's one of the things I try to do is like try to find the local shop and go there and see what they got. And even if I'm out of town, I'll try to find out like not the chain places, but like if there's a local shop that's there, I'll try to see what they have.
Yeah.
Before I do that. I know there's one up near Dayton.
Yeah, toy department.
Toy department.
They actually just moved into a bigger facility. So
wow, I've not been up to that. I need to.
That is a kick-ass store, man.
Is it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I heard it's humongous.
Yeah, pretty much anything you want to find, you'll find there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
It's only toys.
Right. I was pretty close to it one time. My wife Linda went up for this grappling tournament up at Queen City Grappling. Ruben Beer owns that place, but he's also in the, go figure. He's also into comic books and movies, video games, and toys and all that stuff too. So he was like, if you guys like, but we just didn't have enough time after all that was said and done to just kind of slide over there, you know.
Yeah.
So
Will and I, we went up to Covington for a Norma Jean concert.
oh
and,
yeah,
and we made our way up to Toy Headquarters, and we were almost late for the show because we went to Toy Headquarters.
yeah. How was the Spawn selection when you went there?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Not so great after I left because I bought it all.
You bought all of it. Yeah, it's all. So
Sorry.
it's all over at Hunter's, you know.
Yeah, sorry for the next guy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's like that.
You know.
And that's another one. That's another reason I still collect them. Vast majority of those Spawn figures, it's made so many of them that they're obtainable, they're affordable now. You can still go buy them. Like you could. It's one of those things where you can go buy 3 or 4 pieces of that stuff and not be like out. You know, like, oh my god, like I just spent, you know.
A bunch of them aren't any more than like $10.
Right. So that's always a good thing.
But then you get into your like Billy Kincaid's and your Gunslinger Spawn, and
yeah, it's like
those are more sought after.
Right. So anything that's more sought after is gonna come with a price tag. And to be honest with you, they didn't make very many of those. Like, I mean, he did. If you see the Billy Kincaid one, you can probably see why they didn't make many of those. It's pretty extravagant. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. So it's pretty violent.
Another McFarlane line that they didn't make a ton of that I collect is that Matrix line.
Oh yeah, he did all that stuff too.
And those are hard to find now.
Yeah, you're not gonna find that. I've not seen too many of that around. I do collect some. You know, I need to get a few more of them, but there's just so many of those. It's like I do collect some, you know, wrestling figures.
Yeah.
Up there, I got a few of the. I got, you know, NWO. Got Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, of course, the Wolfpack core members. Got a Diamond Dallas Page up there. Just got another Diamond Dallas Page from Toy Headquarters. Actually, I bought it over there about the same time I bought that one. That's the Elite, you know, flashback one. That's you know, that's a pretty cool one. I like. There's certain guys I like more. I got some Hulk Hogan stuff. I just don't have it out just yet.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Hulkster.
Walmart actually just had a really big end cap of SummerSlam figures.
Oh yeah.
And picked up the Johnny Knoxville.
Oh, did you? You get the Johnny Knoxville one. So that's kind of wild how they, you know, they make some weird figures like that.
Yeah.
That's a cool one though. Like why wouldn't? Right. And then there's like different lines of that stuff. So like way back in the day, you had these ones that had like, you know, they would show damage and stuff like that. Like
the ones that sweat.
Yeah, they got the sweaty.
Those are so weird.
It's weird. You got the sweat ones. You had the ones where like it sounded like their arms and stuff would break. You know,
oh yeah.
Pop. You know, like arm. I think that's what they called them, like breakers or whatever, breaker figures. You know, somebody that's really really into wrestling figures, you know, would really know more about that than I would. They'd probably like, you don't know what you don't know that much about it, you know, or something like that. It's like, well, I don't know a whole lot about all the wrestling because the lines are so there's so many
There's
of them.
a bunch.
It's just, you know, I'm on that token. I'm more like, well, I like that figure. I'm gonna collect that.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not collecting it because of its rarity or whatever. But you know, I've always liked Diamond Dallas Page and stuff like that. Like you got Ready to Rumble, probably one of the cheesiest wrestling movies made of all time, and DDP's like the bad guy in there. So, but it's David Arquette in there who does wrestle, which is wild.
Yeah, that's.
And he done like one of those death matches against, you know, what's his name, Gage or whatever. I can't think of what they got, but he did one of those and he got like hurting it real bad, like for real. Like he got cut real bad with a fluorescent light tube. It's one of those one of those kind of things, you know.
I was watching like Ruby Rose on, was it AEW?
Yeah.
And she was doing a match where they were like bloodying each other.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. It's kind of wild, man. Like let your stuff do that. You know, like now that the secret's out on a lot of that wrestling stuff, like the kayfabe part of it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them, they would blade each other themselves. Ric Flair and stuff. How he's always bloody.
Yeah.
He was cutting himself. With like a little tiny razor blade he had hidden in his sleeve, and they throw it outside.
Yeah.
But there's they call that you get to busting somebody open the easy way or the hard way.
Yeah.
Like the hard way is obviously like you actually bust somebody open, and some of them go that route, but most of them want to just cut because it's like a little tiny sliver and they can bleed a lot off of that.
Yeah.
And instead of actually having to get stitches and stuff.
Yeah. Ugh.
So nobody wants to do that. But then they had so sometimes you get figures like that. They come up with like to have blood on them, or they'll be like and some of them for a while there they had some of them that came with like the signature series or whatever that came with like pieces of the ring or pieces of the turnbuckle or parts of the rope and stuff from like WrestleMania. They're trying to do the whole whole sports card thing. Like where you got pieces of bat or pieces of somebody's uniform or something like that, which is cool. But
yeah,
they're trying to get on. So you have people that collect those kind of figures, and then you got people that like me. I got the ZDP figure because I like to get him to sign it one of these days. Possibility, he's around the area quite a bit. I do his yoga so down there, so it's interesting. It helped me a lot. I can't complain about it. It's great,
Be like going back to McFarlane. He includes autographs with some of his figures these days.
And then they're very limited on how many he's doing.
Yeah.
So like if you can get a hold of one of those beforehand, that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's next weekend or weekend after is San Diego Comic-Con.
It's soon.
So you catch up with him there if you happen to be in San Diego.
Or is it this weekend?
Oh, I thought it was the 23rd or something.
Was it?
I thought
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's next weekend.
Okay.
I think next weekend is San Diego Comic-Con.
I know I'm kind of mad at him right now because he has an action figure that I really want and it's exclusive to that con. I'm like, of course it is.
Yeah. Well, if anybody's going out there, pick this up for $100.
Yeah. If you see the Dread Lantern,
yeah,
grab me one.
Grab that man one. Bring it back. I'm sure he'll pay for it. He's good for it. If not, you can beat him up or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the other thing they started doing. Just like comics, they started doing these exclusives where you can only get this figure at this show or whatever. So like, you want to talk about expensive? Like,
oh my gosh,
think about that. It costs you what's the going rate for a ticket? To $350, $400? Or more than
I can afford.
More than that sometimes. On a second, it gets just like you trying to get these Taylor Swift tickets, right? Or Blink-182 tickets. Like the same thing. They're ran by some Nazi-like ticket agency. You know what I mean? That's like, it's no other way to put it, man. They're just like they're just soulless individuals out there, entities that's taking all this money. So same thing for Comic-Con of that magnitude, right? A Comic-Con like that, you're gonna pay, tickets normally are $300. You're gonna pay $450 to $1,000 depending on what the package is, right? And that's just to get in the place. That's not the that doesn't count you being like, say you're out here where we're at, getting a ticket to San Diego, hotel rooms, which are obviously exponentially higher during San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Because they know what's going on, right? And I know this for a fact because I had to go out there for work one year during the week beforehand, butted up to Comic-Con, and I was out there, and like that second week that I was there, come that Wednesday, before the weekend, all those tickets, or not tickets rather, but all the prices of the hotel rooms jumped up by like $200 a night.
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's gonna make money. So that's the whole thing. Is like, just think how much that figure is gonna cost you. Like if you're out there doing this, coming from someplace like this. Now, if you live in San Diego, I mean, you probably got a way in there, or live close enough to drive over there. But In Kentucky, um, there's like here in the state, there's not really a big con that like attracts a lot of those people. Not really. Not,
Maybe just Lexington Comic Con.
Lexington Comic Con does, yeah, but I mean they've never had McFarlane.
No, no, no.
That's what I'm saying. They're not gonna
Yeah,
like.
no.
And then in Cincinnati had Stan Lee that one year.
Yeah.
Um, but Lord knows how much they paid to get him there.
Ugh.
But that was, I mean, if you were there that year, that was a giant, event.
Yeah.
It was like that was the biggest I've ever seen that, and I'm sure that played a big part to why that was. The deal is like you're gonna pay as a con, you're gonna pay up front for whoever, but if that person's a draw, obviously you're gonna get your return.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, but he does very limited. He does San Diego Comic Con, which I don't. He's talking about not doing it anymore, but he's close enough. He lives in, Phoenix, so
That's not too bad for him then.
nah, it's like so he can literally drive over there.
Yeah.
It's about 3 hours, one way.
He needs to come to the East Coast.
Yeah, well he does.
I got so much stuff for him to sign.
New York City Comic Con, man.
Yeah.
So
do Heroes Con, Todd.
yeah, he needs to do that one. Like Heroes Con in North Carolina, Charlotte.
Yeah.
That'd be the one to do.
Him and Mike Mignola. That'd be great.
Yeah, if you get them both there, that'd be good. But
That'd be so poor.
that's the thing is they're going to bring these exclusive comic books for that. Every con has exclusive comic books, exclusive action figures, cons of that magnitude. So back to toys or whatever. Like if you want this like exclusive, and they do exclusive Funko Pops for San Diego Comic Con. Yep. So like if you're into pop figures, which we have some running around here, there's a whole shelf of them back there. But
I was actually about to say, with the exclusive pops, they do a cool thing where they do the ones that you can only get there.
Yeah.
But they do the exact same pop, but they have a shared sticker.
Yeah.
So it's a little more available because they go to big box stores.
Right. It's not as exclusive.
Yeah. But if you're wanting that particular pop, you have the opportunity to get it.
Right. Which is not a bad deal.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Hot Toys does the same thing.
Yeah. But there's some people, obviously they're like, I gotta have this San Diego Comic Con sticker on there, and I get it. It makes sense, but I mean, you get the same pop over here for a fraction of that.
Yeah.
San Diego Comic Con money.
That's my kind of pop right there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to spend that kind of money for it.
$12.99 for the same pop. You got me.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, for the one that you're gonna spend hundreds of dollars on.
Yeah. Although I do have a Grail that I still need to obtain as a con exclusive from 2009, that Bloody Rorschach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't find that thing.
Yeah, people that got that got it.
Oh yeah.
They're not.
That one's super faked too.
Yeah, they're not coming off of it, but the Chinese are trying to make it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the other thing you got to watch out for. The Chinese knockoffs have hit the.
Yep.
Yeah, you get a toy and right off the bat if it's real or not.
Yep. Or sometimes you don't.
Yeah, that's true too.
NECA action figures are infamously faked.
Yeah.
I was teaching Todd Sulfridge how to spot a fake NECA figure because we got one in.
Yeah.
And they're very close. They're very, very close.
You get it from somebody, like a private person, or?
Yeah, someone sold it to the shop.
Okay.
And it looks pretty good, but there's some things you can tell. You're like, oh, that's not 100% there.
So same thing with like purses and watches and jewelry and stuff. Same thing, you get knockoffs in here. Last thing you want to do is pay non-knockoff prices for a knockoff, right? Yep. And then later on, maybe you need that money for something. You go to sell that, and all of a sudden you can't. Somebody that knows it's not a real one.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta have some problems with that. They do with video games as well.
Yep.
They
Pokemon games.
Yeah, Pokemon games are probably the top one that they do that to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do a bunch of those. I've seen a bunch of those come, at shops and stuff, and that's one thing, like like place like Todd's is real good at it. He'll like mark it as a knockoff.
Yeah.
Like I never seen him put one in there that was like, oh, this is not fit. You know.
No, and Todd's super knowledgeable about that stuff. So
Yeah, he's good on the
pretty
video
good at
game
spotting
front.
that stuff.
So it's you need to, you know, it's like as much as I hate to say it, like that cheesy Pawn Star show, you gotta call an expert, you know,
Yeah.
and somebody that's, you know, you gotta talk to somebody that's knowledgeable in those areas if you're wanting to get into this and you're trying to buy a really, you know, expensive uh, toy or
Yeah.
action figure, whatever your preferred nomenclature is, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but it's similar to collecting comics and stuff too. Like they have their own, you know, level of grading as well. Um, but there's more to look at with an action figure, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's some straight up normal criteria that, you know, but like every action figure is kind of different. Does this thing work? Does it have all these little accoutrements that it comes with, you know?
Yeah.
Does it, you know, like we were just talking earlier, I saw, you know, at a place I'm sorting a whole Thundercat set that I've never seen such a large amount of Thundercat stuff together at one time because this stuff's hard to come by. That's real hard. Like they had the entire play set and everything, and they were just talking about how like it didn't have this table and it didn't have this and that, and I was just like, man, that's a lot to go through. Or like, you know, for the GI Joe guys, if they're looking at the, you know, USS Flag, that thing has
so many pieces,
like 1,000 pieces or something.
So many.
That thing's huge.
Yeah, oh, it's ginormous.
Yeah, it's like 7 feet long, 4 feet wide at this length, and like 3.5 feet tall. It's insane.
Yeah.
When you see one of those put together,
I don't think I've ever seen them put together.
I think
that's complete.
Yeah, I mean, but have you ever seen one like it just as?
Oh yeah, like just the shell. It's enormous.
Todd had one that was fairly complete.
Yeah.
I think he was missing like a few small things.
Yeah.
Like I think he was missing like this little like elevator thing and maybe like there's like a little some little buckle or something. I forget what it is, but he would know right off. He'd be like, I'm missing this. It was missing this. But yeah, and that's the thing is if you're buying that stuff as a collector, or as a reseller, or as a, you know, a business, you really have to look this stuff over, man.
Yeah.
You know, because nowadays in the worlds of 3D printing, there's people out there 3D printing those little pieces and stuff and trying to pass them off as real stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I worked at the comic shop, one of the things I looked at most was that original Millennium Falcon.
Oh yeah.
And you got to watch those, man.
That's a pretty good size toy as well.
Yeah, it's like 3 feet across.
Yeah, it's pretty hefty.
Set.
Yeah, it's like I see people always holding it up like a pizza, you know.
Yeah.
That's fun. But I think the biggest, probably the largest, you know, kind of toy that I have is up there, that the Spawn action play set.
Oh, Spawn Alley.
Yeah, I got that. I got the Spawn Mobile, and I got the monster truck up there as well. It's hiding around back in behind.
Oh, the Violator one?
Yeah, the Violator monster truck.
That thing's sick.
Yeah. If you're interested in one of those, Todd has one for sale.
He does.
It's reasonably priced. But yeah, I have to go over some of that stuff too. I have an ancient Heroes Quest board game up there. Yeah.
What are the biggest sets? Oh, I have a couple of Star Wars play sets, like a ATTE tank.
Yeah.
And then a couple ships.
You get you didn't buy one of the Ewok playsets?
No. No.
That's probably the one I see the most common.
Yeah.
They had to make a bunch of those for some reason.
Well,
I think the Ewok movie was basically designed to sell toys.
Probably.
Was the indoor movie?
Yeah. God, that's a terrifying movie.
Yeah.
But the Ewok Village was repurposed as the Robin Hood play.
We had same one, right?
Yep, exact same. The Robin Hood playset came with leaves though, and the Ewok Village did not.
Yeah. So there you go.
Explain that one to me.
I don't know. No leaves on indoor, even though there's a ton.
Yeah, I don't know.
Indoor kind of looks like Washington, if you didn't know. Pacific Northwest very much. I'm sure they filmed it up there, but
I wonder if they did. I don't know.
yeah, I'm sure somewhere up in that neck of the woods, I would say.
More recently, I got the Batmobile from the Flash movie. That's a pretty good size.
It's a hefty one. That's a McFarlane's Toys thing, right? Yeah.
We're sensing a theme here.
Yeah.
It's McFarlane stuff.
I mean, well, he makes he makes some really cool toys, man.
Yeah.
Like different stuff like that. Like, and he has all the license for DC and stuff like that. Not all of it, but he's got the if you're gonna get quality stuff, it's gonna come from him.
Yeah.
As far as like all the DC stuff, he doesn't do the Marvel stuff.
Nope.
Still on the outs with them.
Yeah.
I don't know if there'll ever be a reconciliation there.
Probably not.
I would hope so, man. Maybe one day when Rob Liefeld's running Marvel.
Get another
could you,
CEO.
Yeah, could you imagine the day that
Oh my god.
He
would greenlight every edgy comic ever.
Yeah, it'd be wild. Lots of pouches.
Lots of pouches.
Lots of pouches.
Return of the pouches.
He catches a lot of flack, but you got to give the guy credit for making it.
Yeah.
Making it out of nowhere to where he's at. So,
a lot of people that collect Marvel and DC don't like that they're different scales too, because Marvel is 6-inch scale and DC is 7-inch scale.
Yeah, they hate them.
Yeah, so the Marvel figures look tiny.
Yeah,
giant Batman.
Pretty small. Yeah, Batman looks pretty. I got a couple of those Batman in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Marvel Legends, I got a Logan hiding back in there. Up top.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
he probably looks good next to McFarlane Toys because he's short.
Yeah, and he would look proportionate, even though it's the Jackman one, so.
Oh yeah.
It looks it's him. You could tell.
Yeah.
And he's definitely he's Hugh Jackman's like 6'1" or 2" or something like that. So
he's a tall dude.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's the X-Men Origins one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what that is. Yeah. So it's not a bad one.
No, that's a good figure.
Kind of, leather jacket and stuff like that. So it's normal. Sometimes I don't care for him in the suit. So.
Yeah.
Which that's.
I'm a big fan of the wife beater look.
Yeah, that's always good. I mean, that's a standby in a lot of comics. They, people got tired of drawing the suit.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, well, we're gonna do this whole Logan's wearing normal people clothes stuff, which he has to on occasion.
Yeah.
That's about the. I think that's about the only cosplay I've done in the last long bit is the Logan one, because it's just easy.
Yeah.
Grow the chops out, shave that,
the chin. Yeah.
Shave that part. Kind of look like a mustacheless Lemmy, and then get you a wife beater or a flannel and some blue jeans, boots going about life.
Yep.
Get the hair done up. You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
But that's a pretty easy one. And then it's also pretty easy to like not be in costume.
Yeah.
Like if you're done doing this, you just like take the claws back to wherever and drop them off. Which I have a set of them up there, by the way. Yep. There's a set of the Wolverine, claws up there. But yeah, you drop those off when you're done, and you're just dressed like a normal person, sort of. More so or less. You're not
incognito. Logan.
Yeah, you're not wearing all this like. The best one I ever saw was there was a guy one year at Cincinnati Comic Con that was wearing a Logan one, and all he had was glued to his hands were those little. He just had the little.
Oh, where they're like cut off.
Yeah, but he had them set up where like the blades were coming out in different.
Oh, that's cool.
Links or whatever, how they did in the movie somewhat.
Yeah.
So he was wearing them like that. So that's all he had. So he didn't even have the full claws.
That's kind of cool.
He just kind of took some of those and made them fit and cut them off. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It was interesting.
Yeah.
I've seen people do all manners of cosplay. The only one that I don't really understand is some of this, like, you know, and that's just because I'm not into it and I don't follow like some of this kind of like some of this crazy anime stuff that some of these guys would be wearing. I'm like, I don't know, I have no clue. I mean, the costume looks great, but I was like, I have no clue who that is.
Yeah, that's kind of Warhammer for me.
Yeah, Warhammer's the same way. They don't do that.
I don't follow Warhammer very much.
Right.
The costumes look cool.
Yeah, it's like
even the toys look cool, but I'm
absolutely.
Like, I don't know.
I think, man, like that's real popular in like Britain and Europe. Like over there, that the Warhammer's super popular.
Yeah.
Like here it's okay, but over there they're really into it.
I briefly thought about getting into it during COVID because I mean, everyone was looking for something to do, looking for their next hobby, and I saw how much it costs to
it's expensive.
Get into it, and I'm like, no, I'm good.
Really expensive. Those figures are super expensive.
Yeah, imagine messing one up.
Oh,
I would be so mad.
Be done with it.
Yeah,
and that
the table.
Yeah, so they get it's kind of a, if you don't know that, it's like a board game but with pretty board game mixed with D&D.
Yeah.
Kind of, so with little figures that go with it.
You have armies. Yourself.
Yeah, you pay them yourself. I mean, it's a whole hobby, which I get, I understand. It's just it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's God, I couldn't afford. Don't have enough room for that.
Oh man.
I rarely have enough room for the stuff that I have.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then those Warhammer guys, they got like Pelican Storm cases full of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And they're made for that. They're like Warhammer branded cases.
Yeah. They used to make the Warhammer figures out of like pewter.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like how heavy was that box if you got 300 figures in that thing or whatever. So there's that whole thing. But yeah, I think the other figure that I got that I probably should have got it out for this, but is up there in the box. It's the McFarlane Kickstarter setup.
Yeah,
so that's a pretty cool one. I got that guy. I got the 3 set.
Explain that one, yeah. Explain what you got.
Yeah, so it's the one that I'm really happy about is like it's like basically a remake, a better remake of the early Gen 1 Spawn figures.
Yeah.
And then I got that one, and then it came with I'm trying to think of the other. It came with the black and white one, and I can't think of the other one for some reason.
So yeah, there was like a modern.
Yeah, the modern
one, and then there's one that was
the vintage blue with that's the
completely remade the other one.
Right, and then
the artist proof.
And the artist proof. But I was real focused on that one, so that's real. But at the time, you're like, well, I get 3 figures for just a little bit more. So, but what it was is Todd McFarlane did a whole Kickstarter, kind of scenario where like, to fund this thing, and it kind of got released at right at the kind of start of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it was held up forever, like getting it shipped over here.
It took 2 years to get to us?
Yeah, 2 years because of the pandemic. When it finally got here, I mean, it's made well. Came with an autographed copy of this special edition Spawn book for this thing. I think I don't even, was it was like a couple $100.
Yeah, I think it was like $250 for all 3.
Yeah, $250,
something like that.
It's just been a while since I thought, but it's like $250 for all 3. That's 3 like really well made figures.
Yeah.
And a comic book that coincide with it, and an autograph.
Yeah.
From Todd himself. So.
And the figures came with all manner of accessories.
Yeah. So like, you couldn't just go. You still can't just go to the store and buy those. I'm sure there are stores like local stores that have those.
Yeah.
But
Todd Selfridge has one.
He still has one.
Yeah, he's got one.
There you go. If you want to get this thing, go down and see Todd. I'm sure he'll make a deal with you.
Yeah, it's worth it. I just pulled up the original Kickstarter, and The budget was $100,000. That's what he expected to make, and it ended up making almost 3.5 million.
3.5 million.
Yeah.
So where'd the rest of it go? You making that movie, Todd, or what? Nah, but he did really really expand on it. So like, you got way more than you originally put in for.
Yeah.
There's just a ton of stuff you got off of that.
There's like die cast parts and
Yep. All
tons
kinds
of
of
stuff.
the chains and stuff were
Yeah.
all like are real chains again, and it's kind of wild.
Yeah. It's a cool figure.
Yeah, I may have to bust them out and put them on the Instagram page if you guys are following that.
Yeah.
All like 89 of you out there. No, but we do appreciate everybody that's liked and followed all that stuff. It's just we're trying to grow this organically. We're not those like buy the little blue check mark, buy a bunch of like fake Instagram people to make yourself look like you're really doing this thing. We're just trying to have fun doing this and make it kind of help some people out if they're interested in this, and just kind of talk about this stuff. We're gonna hopefully do a few more. I think here soon we're gonna have our hopefully maybe next weekend we'll get our first interview in, and more than likely that first interview will be Todd Sulfridge, just because he's been in this game a long time,
Yep.
longer than I have. So getting his insight on some, and he owns a comic book shop, so who would know more about certain things. But that kind of 70s and 80s era that that is way far away for Hunter, and like far away for me. Todd lived during that time, so we have to have some questions to ask him about that. So some of the older folks that listen to the show may find some of that stuff interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll have him talk about the Richmond Comic and Toy Show.
Yeah.
That's coming in November 11th and 12th.
Yep. Mark your calendars.
Mark your calendars. If you want to vend there, it's probably one of the most reasonable priced booth spaces that I've ever seen.
Yep.
I mean, he just wants to put on a good show and have the right people there and make it affordable. So because he understands that he goes to cons too to sell, and he understands like that upfront cost takes away from your back cost, right? Like your profit. So it's, I believe it's $150. You get a table, 2 chairs, and power if you want electric. Which is that's a good value, because most places, I think Frankfurt just had a con with not too many of recognizable names to me, really. I think the only guy there I really knew was up was that David Del Rocco from Boondock Saints. He was there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Rocco from Boondock Saints, if you're familiar, which is not bad, but it's like, but they were still charging. It was a single day show. They were charging $150 for it. I think Todd's doing $150 for 2 days. So I'm just saying, and I think that one you had to pay for your chairs. So yeah, jump on it if you want to get involved with it. I think Hunter and I are going to try to get a booth there. Maybe do a con from there. So if you're going to it, come by and see us. We'd be happy to talk with you and promote the show. Like I say, we don't make any money off of this.
Yeah, this is our hobby.
This is a hobby, so we have fun with it, but we'll come out of pocket and get our own little booth over there to do some things, right? But yeah, should be a good show. Again, it's gonna have comics, toys. I can't say who I think he's gonna have there, and I don't think he's ready to announce that sort of stuff yet. But from what I understand, there's going to be some pretty heavy hitters there.
Yep.
You know, there's going to be a couple big names. So he's working real hard. I know him and several other people working real hard to get some people there. That comic book creators, whether they be writers, artists, all those type of things. Maybe get some. Let's see if we get some wrestlers there. Is what he's thinking. Probably, hopefully, right? Be nice.
Depends on which ones.
Yeah, some of them are hard to deal with.
Yep.
But and money wise, but yeah. So I think he's gonna do it's gonna be fun. This year he's moved it from the old, renamed it and moved it. It used to be the Rich City Comic Con. It was at the old, kind of indoor mall that we had there in Richmond. Which was a cool layout. It was just you kind of felt like and everybody did. You kind of felt that it was a little spread out.
Yeah.
So this year he's doing it over at the campus of Eastern Kentucky University at the Alumni Coliseum.
Yeah.
Which that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, so
it's a nice space.
Nice space, plenty of parking.
Yeah.
Big nice area.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's going to be more normal.
Walking distance for the students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you live in Richmond proper, it's not you could just walk over. You wouldn't even have to deal with any sort of traffic.
Yep.
And coming in through campus wouldn't be too bad. It's nice over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's plenty. I think he's going to have some food trucks and things running around there. So, but yeah, we'll get it. We'll get him on the show. And we'll talk to him, and he'll be able to tell you exactly. So you'll hear it from him, from old Todd himself.
From the horse's mouth.
From the horse's mouth. Yeah, you hear it from Todd himself. So I think fittingly, since we're all big fans of Todd and what he does for the local community as far as us folks that collect and stuff. So I think it's fitting to have him be the first guest on the show.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get him involved here. But as far as back to the action figure scenario, they should have plenty of sellers of that stuff there. So if you're looking for some of that stuff, hopefully you can find it there.
Yeah. I know Todd is bringing Todd back up again. He's a big sideshow seller, and
yeah,
that's one of the main things I collect is like hot toys and stuff of that nature.
Well, those are like the tip top of the.
Yeah, those are the creme de la creme.
Yeah, so
the figure world,
and they're priced accordingly.
They are, but
so
absolutely worth it.
Yeah, you get a little sticker shock sometimes when you look at those, but they are next level detail on those things.
Yeah. They're 6 scale, so they're about foot tall.
Yeah.
So it's like a little tiny person looking at you.
Right. Yeah. There's some. I remember when you got that Hulk Buster in.
Oh, thank God he sold that.
That thing was.
Oh my God.
That thing was like 3.5 feet tall or something.
That thing was huge.
Yeah, it was lug that thing around to different Comic Cons and stuff. And then
I hope whoever got that is super happy, because I'm super happy it's not there anymore.
I hope whoever got that had some sort of cart to take it out in.
For real.
Yeah, because.
Yeah, that thing was so big you could fit the regular Iron Man hot toy inside of it.
Right. Did you not buy a Grogu?
Oh yeah, the life size one.
Yeah, you bought the life size Grogu.
Yeah, it's currently still in the box because I just have nowhere to
put it. Yeah. But how much was that thing?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Probably $500 maybe.
I don't know if it was that much, but it was a decent chunk.
But yeah, so just saying, you'll pay quite a bit for those. But when you see them, the quality is insane.
They range from like 200 to, let's say, $500.
Yeah, I know there's some. I'd have to look it up, but I wonder what the largest one of those is.
Probably that Hulk Buster. I think
probably it's
giant.
Pretty big, yeah.
They did a whatever the Captain America version of Iron Man from World War II. They did that one for the What If line.
Yeah.
They did that one a couple of years back, and that one's pretty big too. But it
Didn't they do a didn't they do a Wolverine and Hulk like together, like a battle scene one?
oh, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I saw one.
Did
I
they?
have to look it up, but
Was it a statue or was it?
I think it was a statue. It wasn't
Oh, okay,
wasn't the
yeah,
actual hot toy, but I think they did a statue
well,
version of that.
if we're getting into hot toys, they or statues,
Yeah.
they do life size ones.
Yeah.
Like you can buy a life size Iron Man statue.
Oh, that's crazy. Like
I've had a life size Boba Fett on my wish list for about 10 years now.
I remember it was Justin Gad, was it not, that bought that
The life size Batman.
the life size Batman from Hastings when it closed down?
Yeah, that was a NECA figure.
Yeah, that thing was huge.
That thing was huge.
And then he loaned it to Todd to have in the shop for a while, and I think he ended up selling it.
Really?
I think he finally ended up just like he was
tired of it.
done with it in his collection.
You know,
It happens.
it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to. I'm a big Michael Myers fan.
Yeah.
And, I really want a life size Michael Myers in
Oh
my
yeah.
collection. Yeah.
You have to get you one, man.
Yeah. I got all the stuff to do it, just haven't done it.
I know. Well, you get you a new place, and you'll have the room for it then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, some of the stuff that I wish I'd like, kept better, handled was all the He-Man stuff I had years ago. And you always hear that a lot, like, oh, I used to have this when I was a kid. A lot of people, that's when they start collecting that stuff again.
Yep.
So that's what is some of the catalysts for getting people back into, collecting toys and action figures. They may not collect comics or anything like that, but there's a lot of people that come in and buy action figures and toys,
Yeah. Nostalgia is a big part of that business.
Exactly what it is. Yeah, like you're like, oh man, you see that thing, and you're
I
like,
had that when I was a kid. I gotta have it again.
Yeah, like, to this day, like as a 43-year-old man,
Yeah.
knocking on the 44 door, I'm over here like, I see something like that was like super crazy, like unobtainable when I was a kid, I'm like, oh my god, look at that thing. Like you get this flood of nostalgia, and you're like, I gotta get that, or I gotta try to find a way to get that,
Yeah.
And there's things that you forgot about, like you completely forgot about, and you'll see it somewhere. Like there's a guy that I follow, and I would love to get him on the show, because he has like the wildest collection of like vintage stuff you've ever seen. He puts it on his sites. He's got this Facebook page that I follow, and it's Instagram as well. He calls himself Dinosaur Dracula.
Dinosaur Dracula.
But
that might be the best name ever.
Yeah, he, like his collection, his collecting stuff goes out of wild. It's just wild. Like he even collects like old fast food. If you ever want to see some stuff that doesn't disintegrate or anything, old McDonald's stuff doesn't go anywhere. Old McDonald's restaurant food does not go anywhere. And he like has these giant freezers and stuff. He keeps them in. But
that's kind of gross.
It is kind of gross. But but I'm saying, but this sounds like the type of guy you'd like to have on the show, But he also has these like he'll do these posts where he has like collection of these just the wildest toys. Like, oh, I got this, and I forgot about this, And then you're like, well, I got to get something like that. Like, like I knew about, like there's one up there. There's Linda's My Pet Monster up there, right? Like I knew about it, but I didn't know about like all these little. There's like a whole like several other of those things,
Yeah.
And there's like miniature ones, and it's like I didn't know they existed. This guy's got them all. Like this dude, I'd like to see like this guy's collection all at one time, man. Like I don't think I've ever seen him post anything like that, but like he just has this crazy stuff, man. If you ever want to look at that, but so action figures, he collects like cereal, all that stuff, man.
Wow.
And he's still collecting. Like
that's pretty cool.
Like when there's new like Spider-Man cereal comes out, like I got this new Spider-Man cereal.
Oh, I bet he's got the Spider-Man Pop-Tarts from like 2002.
He does. He did one where he did an opening of this like 1992 or 3 Ninja Turtles Chef Boyardee pasta. And he says to this day still one of the grossest things I've ever done in my life. And if you go to his page or you Google
I think I've seen the picture of it.
Yeah, I think I share a lot of his stuff just because it's just like in the collecting world. He's like he's like eclectic, you know. It's
Yeah.
like he's like wild.
Just looks like this black
Yeah, it
mush.
just looked it was rusty and stuff because
Yeah.
the can had broken down. And it's just, he's like still the grossest thing I've ever
Oh,
opened in my.
I believe it.
Yeah, but he had that thing, and he had like here's some just wild stuff that he's got. So, but yeah, action figure wise, if you're there's some people out there that have like, you know, crazy collections. You know,
Yeah.
I'll probably have to look. I'm gonna look it up. Who has the like the giant collection of that stuff? You know what I mean?
Spawn specifically, Spawn Hunter on
Yeah.
Instagram. That's a
Oh
cool.
yeah, Spawn Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool.
And
account
what's
to
the other
follow.
one? The Spawn Archive.
Spawn Archive. Yeah.
Yeah. Those two guys. Yeah, as far as Spawn stuff goes,
Yeah.
they have it off. And I think it's the Spawn Hunter that's putting on that Spawn Con.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'd like to go to that, but it's
Colorado.
It's out in Denver, and it's at a time that I think that I'll be doing something else, unfortunately, or else I would think about it, because who wouldn't? This guy would want to go to the first Spawn Con.
I mean, there's bound to be all kinds of crazy stuff
I
happening.
don't know. Like hopefully he has some more of them, and I'll have a chance to make it out there. Or maybe we can figure something out. We'll go out there because Hunter would probably like to go out there too. I'd say.
Yeah, you know.
Let's go check out the Spawn Con. It's something. Something I'd always like to have done was like a Spawn convention, but I'm not at that place in my life to do such things.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mr. Spawn Hunter is.
Yeah.
And he has done so. So, if you would like to go to a Spawn convention, I'm pretty sure that would be pretty cool to go see. And it being in Denver, I mean, you could go see Mile High Comics, which is the largest comic book store in the world.
Yeah, that's a cool store.
I've been there. It's good to go see. The prices are also very expensive.
They're mile high.
Yeah, they are mile high. So, far more for things out that way. So, but yeah, go check out that place. That place was crazy. When I went in there, they were doing live professional wrestling in the middle of.
Oh yeah.
The place is so big that they have a ring.
Right in the middle.
It's permanently set up.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights they do wrestling there. Like that's where there's a promotion, and they run wrestling shows out of, Mile High Comics, the warehouse location. So
that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So, and there's all kinds of stuff in that place, man. And it just goes on forever. You walk into that joint, and you're like, this is huge. Like, I get it. This is like, I understand why this is the biggest comic book shop in the world. It is ginormous. Action figure. They got a ton of action figures in that place.
Yeah.
But
that's usually what I gravitate towards as soon as I get to a comic store. I'm like, let's see what toys they got.
Yeah.
I want to see what toys they got.
Right. And most of the comic shops in Lexington now they really don't have a lot of action figures and toys anymore, and that's because of toy headquarters.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. It's just like, if you want to go for action figures, you're gonna have to go over there.
Yeah. It's cool that there's like a designated spot now that like, I'm
going for
action figures. I'm going to one store.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is like, I've been around in the last little bit. I've been around to several of the stores in Lexington, and it's just like, they don't really have much.
Yeah.
Like, Todd still has a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Todd's got anything you could think of. But
I think in Lexington, it's concentrated around toy headquarters, which is okay. You just got to know where it's at and to go over there.
Yeah, it is in a weird spot.
Yeah, it's in one of the little kind of strip mall type sections off of Southland, but not on the not native, but rather on the Southland Bagel and A Plus Comic side. It's on the other side, right before the bowling alley, right?
Yeah, after Willis Music.
Yeah, after Willis Music, right before the bowling alley, right before Southland Bowling Alley. It's kind of over there where that leather shop used to be.
Yeah.
I don't think that's there anymore either.
No.
But yeah, I think the pandemic got it.
It's right next to a Warhammer shop too.
Yeah, there's a Warhammer shop right now, right next to it. So, situated correctly. But if you're over there, go check that place out. They got a lot of stuff in there. If you're into wrestling figures,
Yeah, that is the place
That's
to
the
go.
spot to go. There's not. That's got to be the largest collection of wrestling action figures in 3 or 4 states.
I think it is. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's the biggest selection of wrestling figures in the tri-state area.
yeah. If you're gonna, and why I say that is because if you're into wrestling and you want to go and there's a con or something you're going to and there's a wrestler there you want to meet, an action figure is always something good to get signed, you know, for yourself and
Yeah.
later on if hard times come up or something and you need to get rid of that thing. It's you can make some money off of that more so than you can just a picture with that person's signature on it, But an action figure is something cool. You know, there's a lot of people I see, man. It's like you'll be waiting in line to meet some of these people, and they'll have an action figure. It's like it's just beat all the crap, and the guy's gonna get this thing signed, and it's like, well, this is what I had when I was a kid. This is what I played with. I'm trying to get Hacksaw Jim Duggan to sign this action figure that I beat up as a kid, which is cool.
Yeah.
He's signing the figure directly, and some people that would look at that like, oh, it's out of the box. I can't believe it. It's like kids used to play with toys, man. Like sometimes they need to be played with,
Yeah.
The action figures,
I'm definitely a out of box collector.
Right.
If I kept all those boxes, my wife would shoot me. Yeah, she would be livid.
Like, what are you doing, man? Yeah, they take up a lot of space, the boxes.
Yeah, they do.
You know.
And they're made to be handled.
I
It's like comic books. They're made to be read. Toys are made to be played with.
I do like how they're done now. They've got smarter with it. They're not on those blister packs a lot.
Yeah.
So like you can open that stuff up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get that sort of thing.
That brings me to the new Marvel Legend packaging, or Hasbro in general.
Right.
It is plastic free, and you can't see the figure.
Really?
Yeah, it's basically just thrown in this box, and you can't see the figure. So I wonder what inbox collector people are like, what their opinion is of that packaging where you can't see the figure.
Probably gonna take it out of there.
Yeah.
You
Or just not buy it at all.
Or not buy it at all.
Yeah.
Or, I've known some people buy 2 of them.
Yeah.
They have one so they can have it there with it. And I know what you're talking about because I've seen it on some of the pages. One of the other things that I've grabbed recently, since we're talking about wrestling figures, is, they came out with these kind of He-Man inspired from Mattel
Oh, yeah.
wrestling figures. So, Ric Flair, of course, they did a Honky Tonk Man. They did Hollywood Hulk Hogan. So the NWO, WCW era Hulk Hogan. This Ric Flair here. And for some reason, out of this trip, instead of a Macho Man or something, they did Bray Wyatt. I'm like, why is there not a Macho Man? This would be perfect for a Macho Man figure.
Yeah.
But now they did Bray Wyatt, which I don't mind Bray Wyatt, but it should have been Macho Man or somebody like that.
One of those legacy characters.
Yeah, or like Kerry Von Erich or somebody like that. But which there's a Von Erich movie coming out soon.
Oh boy.
With Zac Efron. Super. Yeah. I'm actually excited about this one. So
yeah, I saw pictures of Zac Efron. He's freaking jacked.
He looks the part, doesn't he? But yeah, so this is a Nature Boy. You guys can see that.
But, I forgot the camera's going.
Yeah, camera's been going the whole time, Hunter. We're gonna see what's going on, but this is a cool action figure if you can come across those. This one is unpunched. Oof. Doesn't it's unpunched, baby. Pristine. Hunter's like, I take it out of the box, man. But yeah, so there are some still coming with the blister pack, like the Beastie Boys up there. They're in a blister pack still, as we call them. But they make all kinds of. If you want to be one of the, and the other thing I was thinking, if you want to be one of those in-box people, that they make those aftermarket packs, right?
Yeah, that protect the card or whatever.
Yeah, well, it's like a whole encapsulation thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you could take one out, put it in that thing.
Yeah.
It's basically like you're taking it out of one package and putting it in another package, which is wild. So they do that. But yeah, there is a whole big rift between the in-box and out-of-box people. They get to where there's some of them that won't buy, definitely won't buy pop figures if it's out of box.
Which makes no sense because it's it's not sealed anyway.
Right, like that's what I'm talking about. That's one that you can open and take it out, put it back in. It's not like it's not like a one and done thing. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I don't really collect. As much of a car guy as I am. I don't really collect too many like vehicles.
Oh, like Hot Wheels and stuff.
Yeah, I don't really collect that. About the only thing I got is that's Spawn Mobile of the in the Hot Wheels vein of existence.
I'm not really a vehicle person either.
And I think Wes Gift gave me that Spawn Mobile.
Oh yeah.
Because
Wes Gift.
Wes Gift's a good dude.
Yeah, he is.
He may be the second interview if we can swing it. He's kind of a big deal.
He might be too big for us right now.
He might be too big.
He doesn't want to hang out.
Yeah, I know. Like right now, he's over watching Transformers. So, yeah, that's what I saw it on his. I saw it on his social media over there watching Transformers. Doing God knows what with the Transformer thing. But that's the Beast Wars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool because I remember when the Beast Wars line came out. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, we got some dinosaur Transformers and stuff, man. That's great. So it's kind of cool to see that that sort of thing.
That's actually a line of toys I don't really collect.
Transformers,
G.I. Joe.
Man, there's one up there. It's the little radio, the blaster, the boombox.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
As far as when I was a kid, I had a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But it just the reason I don't collect those now is because they take up a lot of space.
They do.
That's the big deal. I'm like they take up a ton of space.
Yeah.
Some of those are ginormous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like bulky all the way around. Like if you had a one of the big size Optimus Primes, good luck putting that somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the only one I have is an Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And yeah, his trailer is in storage, and I just keep Optimus Prime on like my desk or something.
Right. I think I have Blaster, and the only other one I have is Whirl, which is the Cobra helicopter.
Oh.
He switches over, but
yeah.
I don't got him on display. I probably should, and that's because he's
big.
Props are too big.
Yeah, he's big.
Yeah, so not doing that. But the cool one that I thought about, I did really think about buying though, was the one that transforms by itself.
Oh, the Optimus Prime one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool.
That is cool.
Makes the sound effects,
yeah.
And it does like transforms
in and like fight moves.
Yeah, in and out. That thing is wild.
Yeah, it's cool.
But it's not cheap.
It is not. It's like $700.
Yeah, $700 for it. But that thing's really, really nice.
Yeah.
So if you ever wanted an Optimus Prime that does all the work for you, and to be honest with you, some of those first gen Transformers, they are hard to transform. They're like a puzzle almost.
Yeah.
Like getting them all back together and you can break one real easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
the new ones, you have to have like an engineering degree to put those together.
Oh really? They're that bad too?
Crazy. Yeah. They're like they come with like a booklet on how to transform them. Yeah.
I know I've seen a couple of signs at stores that were like, "Please do not transform the Transformers." So it's like they don't want somebody like breaking them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like don't transform the Transformers, But I could see that, and that's a lot of places. Don't be touching things you're not supposed to touch. Most stores don't like that sort of scenario. But yeah, the a lot of times like the pop figures, that whole that's hit super hard. It's on a little bit of a lull right now, but the
during COVID, man.
Yeah, they were hitting.
Oh yeah.
But the main ones I collect pop figure wise that I have over here, they coincide with the comic books that I collect. Mm-hmm. So I got some Wolverine, and the other one that I like are the pro wrestler ones, like the old school stuff. Like I got Hulk and
I actually just bought my first wrestling Funko Pop.
Oh, did you? Who'd you buy?
Liv Morgan.
Oh, Liv Morgan.
Yep. She just got her first Funko Pop.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I did that. Got a Ric Flair here. I even bought that limited edition Xbox One 2K19 because it came with the limited edition Ric Flair pop. You know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So he's in there hanging out, but yeah, but most of my pop figures coincide directly with a comic book. So
Yeah.
I bought them a pair. Like, we got a lot of Venom stuff, Wolverine, some Hulk stuff, just because, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, some of those are hard to get though.
Yeah, they can be.
So, but you want to talk about take up a lot of space? They take up a lot of space.
Oh yeah.
So
I know I've said it before. I collected them pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Until I covered an entire wall in my first apartment, and I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Gotta nip this in the bud.
Yeah,
We're done.
I've seen people that have like basically all their walls in there have Funko Pop stacked to the roof on.
Yeah, can't do it.
I'm like, how in the world? And people do it, and then
yeah, oh yeah.
But most of the time when they get ready to sell, they sell it as an entire collection.
Yeah, and then they're done after that.
Then
they don't really get back into it.
Yeah, then nobody. I've never seen anybody get back into the Funko Pop business after that.
No.
They're like, I'm done.
Yeah. I know when I sold my collection, I kept a few. Like I kept like the Star Wars ones I wanted, and then the Matrix. Stuff that's like yours. It coincides with the rest of your collection.
Right.
And
I think that's a sensible way of doing it.
Yeah.
Now there's some that are different, like movie franchises. Like you're saying that that Harry Potter ones are they're big.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like there's some of those that are real expensive.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't get them early on, you didn't get them. You know what I mean?
Game of Thrones used to be another really big collection.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. I don't know if it's lost any steam, but
it did, but they're still up there.
Right.
They're not what they were, but
right. But yeah, that's
Harry Potter for sure though.
Harry Potter's a big one. Lord of the Rings. If you could think of a big kind of what would be considered a nerdy franchise of movies, they have a pop figure associated with them, and they're expensive.
Yeah.
Like at least some of the first gen stuff of that is.
You know who they don't have though?
Who?
Beastie Boys.
Yeah, there's talk about that.
Is there?
There was, and then it kind of went away. Like there was talk about Todd actually coming off and licensing a Spawn, figure to be made by Funko, but they couldn't come to terms. I'm sure Todd wanted a lot of control over that, like normal.
Yeah, he made those turd babies. But
yeah, there's two of them up there.
Yeah,
right below the Wolverine phone.
I think those were his answer to Funko Pops, but they didn't really take off like
no, they didn't.
Funko Pops.
Now the name Turd Baby wasn't. That's literally what he called them.
Yeah,
like they're called Turd Babies.
Well, they're from that Spawn Kills Everyone comic.
Right.
That's literally what they were. They were little babies that cartoon Spawn pooped out.
Yeah, that's exactly. So yeah, so the whole thing was not done well. I got a couple of little figures, and I think it's only because they were like on super sale or something.
Yeah.
I think it was that online thing. I think I sent you a post about that. Like, they're having these. I think they were like $4 a piece or something stupid. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, might as well get them. Yeah, but they're strange looking look like little eggs, really.
Yeah.
And that was his answer to Funko Pops. But I know like our friend Gina, she collects all the DC animated series Funko Pops, and those are all cool because they translate over to a pop real well.
Yeah.
Because you get this little animated character, and you can really, you don't have to make it look like exactly like whoever's playing this person or that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's already kind of a cartoon, so you can you have some liberty there, and the colors you can make them real bright, and they don't have to be all flesh toned like a lot of these pops. So that's what a lot of people like that stuff, So I could see the animated series stuff, like even when they did the X-Men animated stuff, that was nice.
Yeah, those are really cool.
Yeah, so I think the cartoons lend more to a better product.
Yeah.
As far as the Funko Pops. Otherwise, it's kind of they all look the same,
Yeah.
but with different outfits on.
Yeah.
Like it really do. Like there's some of them that look a little different, but they really look the same with different little outfits on.
I remember when they were first coming out, Funko was doing all kinds of different things, and they were all kind of the similar thing, like these little vinyl figures.
Right.
And I remember seeing the Pops at Hot Topic for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was like, those will never catch on. Those things are ugly.
Yeah. Other than you like
6 months.
you like the new Beanie Baby.
Yeah, and probably what 11 years later.
Yeah,
they're still going strong.
Yeah, and I think they just had a big, like Funko event down in Nashville that, like thousands of people showed up for.
Yeah.
Like I guess the Funko Mobile was in Nashville, so it's like the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile or something.
Oh
but of Funko Pops.
Oh my God.
And I guess, and of course, what they do, they had, you can only get these certain pops if you catch the Funko Pop Mobile.
Yep.
And I think they were down at like McKay's bookstore in Nashville or something. Was one of the places they were going to be at, and so they were like, I don't know if you've ever been to that place.
Mm-mm.
There's one in Nashville, one in Knoxville. It's a giant bookstore. They got comic books. The place is wild. It's like a giant Hastings, a ginormous Hastings, 2 stories. It's got this kind of like, it's set up like a library at the top. It's like you walk around and there's just like books. I mean, it's huge. Good place.
Check that out.
Yeah, I like the one in Nashville better than I like the one in Knoxville.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the prices are a little but the comic books, like tons of back issues, like real old stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and they got like 2 giant bins of free books out front for people if they're people love to go through that, which is cool. But they have tons of books down there. But they have a bunch of action figures and video games and all that stuff too. They're kind of like a flea market almost, but most originally focused on books, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for that thing to go up there, it's a pretty big deal, I'd say. Especially, I imagine you couldn't get anywhere near it if you didn't get there early enough.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, they always have food trucks and stuff out front, so people go there and make a day of it. You see entire families with kids and stuff out there just chilling, having a good day. But it's a pretty big place to go down there. I don't get to make it down there as much as I should, but to check things out. I don't get to go too far away anymore to hunt for stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, it's harder to do nowadays. And then like around here, you can go to certain places, man, and it's like you just don't see any of the stuff anymore. Like it's all dried up, if you will.
Yeah.
Like I used to go to Goodwill and stuff and see video games, and I don't see any anymore.
No.
So, come to find out, Goodwill has an online store of their own, set up very much like eBay.
Yeah.
And it's an auction site.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, and they sell. So they pull, and the manager or whatever of the store, if they're savvy enough, they're allowed to pull that merchandise before it ever makes it to the floor and anybody local sees it, and they put it on there and auction it off for however much. So if they get like, stuff they know they could sell on there for a good amount, like old video game systems and action figures and stuff like that, boom, right on there. So it's become a whole thing where they have people, their whole job working there is to like look this stuff up before it ever makes it to the floor. So you'll never see it.
No.
Local wise. So it's gone.
Yeah.
So if you look at Goodwill online or whatever it's called, I think it is. Yeah, you just type in Goodwill auctions on Google, it'll take you straight there and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so they're making tons of money off that stuff.
I bet.
To me, if I was donating stuff, I'd much rather donate to like Salvation Army or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah.
Because the Goodwill's like super for profit deal, rather, helping people like they say they do. That's just you just look into it a little bit deeper, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into a whole tangent about that, but if you really look into their practices and how much their upper echelon management gets paid, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So, but yeah, they have a whole. You know, if you got enough to make a whole eBay competitor,
Yeah.
then yeah, you got some money.
The internet's really changed things.
It has. That's what I was leading
collectibles.
into. It was like for collectibles, anything, man. Like Hunter can probably tell you from working in that directly in that line of work, was like people will bring stuff in trying to sell it at like super retail prices. You
Yeah.
know? There's just no local retail establishment is going to pay you retail value
Yeah.
for whatever it is. You know, they'll pay you a fair price for it. Most of them will.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna say something. So you all looked it up online and it's going for 200. And when retail's 200, they're not gonna pay you 200 for it.
Yeah.
You're better off if you want 200 for whatever you're trying to sell. You're better off like putting that on there and selling it yourself. Going, you do all the legwork.
Yeah. But then you get stuck with all the fees too.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
and eBay takes an exorbitant amount of money
Yeah.
nowadays. Well, how much is it now, percentage wise?
I think last time I heard it was around 15%. Something
That's a
like that.
lot, man.
Yeah, it's more than they should.
Yeah, more than they should. So that's why a lot of things cost more on there now.
Yeah.
They got to try to make the money and the fees.
Yeah. Well,
know?
you gotta think about it after that, the fees, and then how much it takes to ship, and
Absolutely.
you gotta pay for the box, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm not. You know, I really don't think I've bought anything off of eBay in a while myself either. I'll peruse it, but it's just, and it's not because I don't want to or anything like that. It's just I haven't seen anything on there that's like, oh,
Yeah.
I got to get that. You know, I'm sure if I looked long enough, I could. You know,
Get
but-
lost in scrolling.
yeah, you'll start. You know, and a lot of people will look at this, so they'll go to eBay and they'll go to the sold tab or whatever, and they're like, oh, this sold this much on eBay. It's like, well, I can't pay you that for it. Not here.
Yeah.
Because I got to make money on it too.
Yep.
I mean, you know, when most retail places got to pay rent, they got overhead, lights, all that stuff. You know.
Yep.
You know, not to mention paying employees and stuff like that. Like you can't just expect them to give you retail for. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
every time I've seen that, I'm just like, what?
What did you think you were gonna get?
Yeah, and it's not like you're gonna. It's like, do you want to wait and pay and make $75 on this thing, or do you want to get paid, $45-$50 right now?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yep.
Like and then usually they'll come to their senses a little bit, The other thing in the action figure world is, you got these people who go around like buying up everything at the stores. Like their whole job in life, that's what they do. They go around and like if something drops new, they go around and buy them all.
Yep.
So that's why a lot of times it's hard to find that stuff local, because you got a couple of guys that locally,
and they're not collectors.
no, they're not collectors. They're
resellers.
just resellers.
Yeah.
Their whole job in life is to resell this stuff for a lot of times it's way more than than retail. So their whole job, they'll go in and buy. They don't have a job or whatever their main source of income is. I know, some of them just do whatever, but they're able to be waiting around a store, like when it opens, run back there with a buggy and buy every action figure that's like hot.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm buying all these. So that's why it's just hard to find them in the stores.
Yep.
Like, unless you pre-order it or something like that.
And that's become a big thing. I order a lot of McFarlane stuff, and a lot of it you can't get it unless you pre-order it.
Right. If you don't pre-order it, you're not getting it.
Pretty much.
Well, you're not getting it for anything reasonably priced. I'll put it that way.
You'll have to get it on the aftermarket.
And like when we talk about retail is reasonably priced.
Yeah.
Now when we talk about the secondary market, it's like if anybody's familiar with bourbon and how much that stuff goes for on it's the same thing with collectibles.
Yeah.
Like if there's a $15 action figure. This guy's going to buy the 30 that they have in stock, and he's going to sell these things for $50 a piece.
Yeah.
You know, like he's going to make a ton of money off this thing.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to try to. And sometimes they get stuck with them, which is I find hilarious. So
yeah,
hope you're stuck with every one of them. You know, it's you know it's a thing that happens. I mean, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't do that sort of stuff myself.
No.
Otherwise, I could make a ton of money off of that, but I don't.
See, that's the thing. I don't feel like you make enough money
No.
to justify it.
Yeah, there's not a. I mean, I'd say that it's like anything, right? There's a very low percentage of people that are gonna make the like a god awful amount of money off of it.
Yeah.
These other guys are just doing it to do it.
Yeah.
They're like,
after you factor in like you're buying this thing, you're
Yeah.
spending time looking for it, you're putting gas money
right.
into your tank.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
drive all over the place.
I don't feel like it balances out in the end, but you know,
Yeah.
do what you got to do.
Yeah, but I said, yeah, I really don't think they make that much money. I think they're just the type of people that like to get this stuff so nobody else can get it, and then say, oh, I got it, you know, which is cool, but I just don't like how that works, you know.
Yeah.
I think there should be a different way to release things.
Yeah.
The other thing I hate, talking about pre-order, is like most places do a pretty good job, but the one place that Hunter will also agree on that is terrible to pre-order from is Target.
Target sucks.
Target is like the worst place to pre-order action figures, and they always have these exclusives.
Yeah, always. And they, the past week they've canceled 2 things on me.
Yep, that's what they.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the gunslingers I got.
The very first one.
Yeah, they canceled my order.
Yeah.
Like right before, and then like trying to get that thing is like terrible.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got a buddy named Jeremy Wharton out in Kansas City. He runs the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu school out there, and he's into this stuff too. And he's like, "I got you." They got one out here at the Target, so he bought one out there, and he shipped it to me.
Yeah.
And that's what I really appreciated that, you know. But like being in such a small area, like not that we are in a small market area, it's really hard to get this stuff.
Yep.
It's even more so limited because like, oh, they won't sell much there. We're not gonna send them as much right off the bat. Then you factor in you got these like half a dozen to a dozen, reseller creeps running around.
Yeah.
You know, like snatching up all the supply.
Yeah.
It was the same thing with those PS5s and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, same guys, the exact same guys.
Yep.
Even. So like if you were angry about not being able to getting a PS5 or something like that, you can blame it on these guys, the same guys. There's a group of them, and that's what they do. And everybody's like, "Oh, well, you're just mad because you can't." I was like, I don't want to do what they do. I just want like one figure for my collection.
Yeah.
At a normal price. You know what I mean? Yeah, resellers, not a fan of them. And if you've ever encountered one or talked to one, they're always like the worst possible people on earth to deal with as well, just like you would think.
Yeah.
They're total tool bags. You know, there's one that Hunter and I know both that I will not mention his name out of whatever reasons, but dude's terrible.
Yeah, I walked down the action figure aisle one time. I think it was Walmart. And I saw he was in the line. I just turned and looked around and left.
Yeah, because
there's not gonna be anything here.
No, he's gonna buy it all.
Yeah,
you know, and he'll sell you one right there, but it'll be $50, man.
Yeah, it'll be.
It's like a ticket scalper type, shady ticket scalper guy, right? You know.
So shady.
Oh yeah, they're shady people, man. Yeah, not a fan of those guys. The worst thing about it is like most of us that collect and are going to, like get one for ourselves. If there's like I've done it before. It's like I want this figure, but there's like a kid there that shows up like afterwards, and he's like, oh, I'm interested in that figure. Like that's the figure I've been looking for. He's got the Like I've given that stuff away. Like
Oh yeah.
I've not bought. I've been.
If a kid wants it,
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to a kid.
it's
That
gonna go
it's
to a
like
kid.
let that guy have it.
Yeah.
But these resellers wouldn't do that. They would it would be like a whole like Grinch type maneuver on that part. They like nah kid. It's kind of it's garbage.
Yeah.
Their whole existence is terrible for the hobby. Makes everybody look bad.
Yeah.
It really does, man.
It really does.
Like it's one thing. Like you already get enough flack being a grown man collecting toys, if you will.
Yeah.
Which I don't really care. You can say what you want to say about that, but I do understand when you got this guy that's like, being that certain kind of way.
Yeah.
Like they're usually rude to employees and other people that are there. There's some of them. I remember there was one during that was talked about quite extensively during like a Funko Pop release that like got in a physical fight with two people up at that store in at the Jeffersonville, Indiana Mall.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, out in front of a Hot Topic.
Well, you heard about the when the Pokemon craze was going on during COVID.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That dude getting shot over Pokemon cards in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
That's wild.
Like, why is that that's the thing, man. But yeah, so just weird stuff like that. But yeah, as far as collecting action figures, like I said, I got a ton of Spawn stuff, some wrestling figures, but like, just collect what you want. If you see something you like, just grab it, collect that.
Yeah.
I still, again, Spawn's still reasonable. There's been it's very rare now outside of that Gunslinger that some of the stuff's hard to get. The only reason it was hard to get was because it was a Target exclusive.
Yeah.
And Target will cancel your order. And it's always like right before you can't get another one.
Yeah.
It's like, or like right after.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's
that one sold out that day.
Yeah. And I had and I had done this. Like I know I just said about I had ordered two of them separately, and they canceled both of them. The only reason I ordered two of them was in case they canceled one.
Yep.
The other one I probably would have, I would have sold it to somebody that wanted it that didn't get one at the normal price,
Yeah.
But the thing is like they canceled both of them. So I anytime, I get pretty mad anytime that there's a drop at Target. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, not these guys.
I've been putting together that Flashpoint wave, and
oh yeah,
that's been a battle every step of the way.
I bet it has. But so that's what we have for our talking points on action figures today. If you have any questions, anything like that, you want to go ahead and send us some talking points or what you'd like to hear about from us, you know what I mean? This would we have several means of communication. You can message us on Instagram, on the Spotify setup. You can message us on Facebook nowadays. We got a Twitter. We have that Threads set up, which is like
I still have to look at that.
Yeah, it's like Instagram, Twitter. It's Zuckerberg's Twitter. You can message us at anything like that. We have an email that's on the Facebook page. You can, if you prefer to go that route,
yeah.
Or if you know who both of us are, Hunter Groves and Chris Langford, you can message us on our respective personal social media platforms. So we're just trying to grow this thing a little bit, and we're trying to make it a little more interesting. I think it'll be be cool to have some interviews coming up here shortly. Sometime in the near future, Hunter and I will be on a semi-local podcast talking about our podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to be on the Kelly Patrick Show. If you're not familiar with that, we're going to talk to Kelly Patrick. He's a well-known podcaster in the area, based out of Louisville, Kentucky. Notice how I said it right. I'm not even from here, but it wasn't Louisville.
You gotta say it with a mouthful of marbles.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You gotta be eating a hot brown when you say it,
yeah.
Right? A Louisville.
Get that Todd McFarlane mush mouth.
Yeah. So the Louisville, Kentucky is where he's out of. So he's gonna have us on a Zoom meeting type setup on his podcast. Should be a good time, guys. But this is Chris Langford.
And Hunter Groves.
We'll see you guys next time at on another episode of Commonwealth Podcast.
Thank you, guys. Bop, 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 bop.